Many strange stories get told on the internet, mostly for the fact that they have a shred of believability. However, what I am about to describe in vivid detail are the memories that are quite tangible. No stretched truth or hardened lies. This happened to me, and it affects me down to the second I am writing this. I must have been around the tender age of 4, a toddler being taught to fish with my uncle and aunt. My grandparents had taken us out as a family for the weekend on the lake, to bring me into my relatives' lives. I remember watching them fish. We were sitting near a boat sled, a sort of trough that sloped into the water. I remember wandering into the shallows, nearly walking so far as to be pulled into the lake and drown. My grandfather caught me and rescued me from that possible fate. That would have been trivial in comparison to what happened later. This story doesn't become memorable until that following evening. We were sleeping over and I was laying on the hard, cold floor adjacent to my teenage cousin Samantha's bed. I remember that I couldn't sleep. It must have been late autumn and my cousin slept with a large white square fan next to her bed. It kept me up all night. I was so tiny, shivering in the dark. My eyes were faintly adjusted, and to keep my mind off of the chill, I stared at the patterns in the wood on the wall next to me. Looping ridges and curved faces jumped out at me. I had a vivid imagination as any young toddler, but I began to see a small light. It slowly drifted out of the wall and close to my hands. It looked like a tiny neon fleck of glitter, pale blue against the dark. I tried to catch it between my hands, but it just drifted through my palms, slowly floating to the center of the room, as if it were aware of its space in the room. My gaze shifted back to the place it had come from, seeing colors crescendo out of the wall, purple, green, orange, and blue. Many colors, trillions of them, dancing like tendrils of some Lovecraftian creature etched of rainbows. I wasn't scared though. My eyes were wide with delight. These shifting sands of neon condensed into that fixed spot. Then I began to see funny creatures made from the light. Spiders, clowns, monkeys, and circus acts performed before my dazzled face. Soon though the show stopped, all the colors seemed to shift out evenly within the room, frozen in empty space like stars twinkling in the night. They all suddenly shifted to green, but not solid green. The particles shimmered like waves in an aurora borealis. I waved my small hands in the air, but again my fingers just passed through them like before. Without warning, all the points of light fell from the air, bouncing several times on the ground before concentrating into a small green pulsing rectangle across the room from me. For some reason, I remember trying to wake Sam up, but she groaned. It was an early hour, and she was fast asleep. Forgetting about her, I let my eyes focus back to the shape of light opposite from me. I got up and slowly walked across the carpet to that shimmering collection of magic lights on the floor. I kneeled down and looked into the light. It was like a window pane, swirling with infinite shades of green, like an individual galaxy spinning before my 4-year-old mind. It was mesmerizing. I reached my fingers out to touch it. Only, that's the last thing I remember. I had blacked out. Ever since then, I've seen them, dancing around like millions of fireflies caught in my eyes. I'm 23 now, and I don't know what to think about it. I had gotten so used to them that I don't even notice them anymore. No spiders, no circus acts. just a membrane of swirling lights, as if it were just smudges on a pair of glasses that you can't clean. I've tried telling my parents and doctors, but no one listens. The doctors would usually give me a funny stare and tell me to ask an optometrist. Eventually in my teens, I learned that other people have this phenomenon or disorder. It's called visual snow, and it's quite rare, so not much is known about it. I just always thought it was normal. When I found out others experienced this oddity, I took to forums, countless personal stories of these vague little lights. It made me feel at ease, knowing that I wasn't alone. However, no one seemed to have such an interesting story as my own. For them, it had always been there, but for me, it was a whole nother world of questions. I wrote it off as asbestos in the walls, a small gas leak, or a vivid dream. But I can't shake how real that sleepless cold night had felt. How beautiful that light show had been. All I know is that I'll live the rest of my life this way. I'll die with glitter in my eyes. And until then, I won't know the comfort of true darkness.